out there, Internet land. It is Monday, July 15th, and it is just after the end of Monday Night Raw this evening, and we are gathered here on Mega Powers Radio, as we are every week, to talk about what we thought of tonight's show. Here on Mega Powers Radio, you will have hosts combining from the Keeping Kayfabe podcast, as well as Smark Out Moments Smack Talk, to form what we've called the Mega Powers, and here we are to give you our thoughts of Monday Night Raw tonight. So go around the horn and introduce everybody we got here. I'm Mike Paden, lead host of Keeping Kayfabe, as well as the president of operations here at Mega Powers Radio and executive producer of Newbie TV. By my side here, first off, I got from the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast, the head of Nerd Genius and the King of England, as I dubbed him last night, Mr. Michael Burhan.
Oh, lovies, how are you all doing today? Yes? No? Tony, rub my feet.
I was going to start singing God Save the King, but I was going to wait for people to...
God save
our noble King, long live our gracious King, long live... Oh, sorry,
oh my gosh. Okay.
Out comes Wade Barrett.
Also, regular appearance on the Smack Talk podcast, as well as a contributor to Fanboys Anonymous. We have Drew White. What's shaking, Mr. Drew White?
Is the mic still messing up? That's all I care about.
You're good.
Am I good? Okay, hey guys, what's up? No, I'm doing
Well,
good.
I have to say, if it's not white, it's not right.
Yeah, it's new catchphrase. There we go.
All right, I still kind of hear it, but
I'll work on it for a while.
Are you sure you're using headphones? I'm hearing echo from you now.
Dude, I have headphones on.
All right, well, anyway, moving on. We also have here the lead of Smack Talk podcast, as well as the head of Fanboys Anonymous and 5,000 other projects that he does, Anthony Mango.
5,001. Added an extra one earlier.
What's that?
Wow. What is?
I don't want to say it.
Oh, it's classified?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and lastly, my partner in crime from the Keeping Kayfabe podcast, as well as Geek Speak, and he hosts his own shows, such as Sportaholics Anonymous, Brendan Liggan.
Hey, everybody! Hi, Dr. Nick!
I was kind of like Dr. Roxo.
I thought you were going for somebody on, like, the Fat Albert show or something.
I mean, you know, it was just a stupid voice I came up with. Just like the litany of other stupid voices I come up with.
All
What's
right.
the one you're using now?
What? What are you going to do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do my Wade Barrett impersonation? I'll do the whole show talking like Wade Barrett.
All right, guys, so we're going to be running down our thoughts of Monday Night Raw. If at any point throughout the show you would like to chime in and tell us what you thought of a particular segment on Monday Night Raw, or even the show overall, or hey, even if you just want to call in and shoot the breeze for a little bit, you can do so by dialing area code 760-512-7247. That's area code 760-512-7247 to connect yourself into here on the Mega Powers Radio for our Monday Night Raw post-show. So, guys, let's talk about Monday Night Raw from the beginning, and the first segment we had was Brad Maddox coming out, his first official night as the Monday Night Raw GM, and slowly throughout that segment we also had John Cena, Randy Orton, and finally, Fandango, which felt like kind of like an odd man out there.
Yeah, definitely he was the one who didn't seem like he belonged, so to speak.
I think it was good, though. All said and done, this ended up leading to a match to start the show between Randy Orton and Fandango, which was a fantastic match, I would say. I mean, everyone goes there and starts throwing this jobber word around a Fandango. Could not be further from the truth. I mean, you saw he just went out there and had this highly competitive match with a fella who just won the Money in the Bank last night and is clearly someone that they're going to be going into a major focus in the coming months. And even just by going from his past standards that he's had, Randy Orton is a big name to go in there and have a big competitive match on Monday Night Raw with.
You know, I thought that you were going to say that the match was fantastic.
Oh, here's what I will say. John Cena did the best Fandango impersonation I've ever heard.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, if anybody who's done the voice, he nailed it spot on.
The only thing that annoys me is that when, like, Fandango doesn't win the Money in the Bank and people are calling him a jobber now, seriously. The guy has won most matches everywhere. He had a huge match with Randy Orton tonight. I think the future's bright. The future is orange for this young man. He's doing well. And as far as I'm concerned, he's got the sky's the limit. I think he'll get, he'll be a standout in the mid-card division. Let him do his thing.
I mean, can you really call somebody a jobber after only being in the country, 5 months, 6 months at the most?
It's ridiculous. It's people... Yeah. What happens is fans... What?
You mean the internet gets hyperbolic over something? Go on, Michael.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's like 1 minute, this guy's excellent, this guy's going to be this. Then he doesn't end up winning the world title in 5 seconds, and everyone's like down on him again. He's doing well. He's doing good for the spot that he's in, and he's going to get better. Simple.
Watch out for that happening with Bray Wyatt.
Seriously, Tony.
Drew, how you doing over there? Drew is apparently going nuts. All right, so
I have no idea what's going on my end.
All right, well, what do you think about Fandango Orton?
It was good.
All right, fantastic.
He likes it. He wants
it.
He wants to touch it.
So next we had a backstage segment with Dolph Ziggler walking around the back, and AJ Lee catches up to him, and Dolph Ziggler tells her, I think it's time to move on. And AJ Lee first thinks, this is great. You just want to forget about everything that happened last night, and starts putting her arms around him, and he says, no, I think you misunderstand me. It's time for me to move on.
He's here to show the world.
What a dick. Are you kidding?
I know, right? Why?
I'll tell you what, man. It's moments like these that I just can't help but think to myself, maybe wrestling is fake.
I know,
because
right?
no straight male would dare turn away AJ Lee.
Well, Jay Lethal did.
And he has a big schlong. And he is the best in the world by default.
World by default.
These are facts.
It is known. It is true.
Big facts. AJ couldn't handle that much, man.
She couldn't handle Black Machismo.
No, he had too much Black Machismo.
This only just makes logical sense to what they did later on in the show. And, inevitably turning Ziggler heel. It was this biggest foreshadowing to it. What would come later?
Do you think we're going to see AJ and Big E become a couple now?
I think it'll be a platonic relationship. I don't think
she's going to have his Big E Langston all over her.
Because again, I think I would refuse to suspend disbelief that they could actually pursue a physical relationship, because he would squash her.
All I'm asking is who's sucking whose titties in that relationship.
The amount of thrusting he could do, he would shatter her like glass.
And let's not forget that his boobs are the size of her head.
Yeah.
Anybody else think that that's an awkward pairing? Even when it comes to like how she skips to the ring and he has that I Need 5 song, like it just doesn't seem like it works out.
It's a very random pairing, but I think he serves well in that role. He's supposed to be the heavy weapons, the insurance policy, and he certainly can fill that role.
He's the Tyson Tomko of the group.
Yes. Yes, but he's a little bit more talented than Tyson Tomko.
Yeah, of course.
Guys, we're enough talk about Tyson Tomko. We got a caller online, caller from the 412, and I think we know who this is. It's our regular caller every week. JD from Pittsburgh. What's shaking, JD?
Hey, guys. How's it going? I'll tell you what, though. Money in the Bank last night, good show, very good show, a lot better than Payback. Raw tonight, even better. I thought it was a very solid show in Brooklyn. I mean, the crowd, I was a little surprised they had 15,000 there in Brooklyn tonight, obviously, for the show at the Barclays Center, but that's beside the point. As far as the show tonight, I got to say it was definitely a very good show. You had two great matches. You had Orton and Fandango in the opener, which was pretty solid, and Jericho and Van Dam stealing the show in the main event. Great stuff there. I think also you got to take a look at the Punk Heyman Brock thing. That was killer tonight. But there were one or two things that were kind of a miss tonight, obviously, on the show. The whole Divas thing, I just wish they would just stop doing the Bella's Funkadactyl feud. I think that you can just get rid of that pretty soon. And the other
boring.
Wasn't that not
I mean, that was just boring. And then the Wyatt family, I don't know where they're going with this whole Wyatt family thing, but, I mean, they take out R-Truth tonight, and it was interesting how that went. But the thing that really just caught my eye tonight was this whole stupid thing with the Real Americans of Swagger, Cesaro, and Coulter. I mean, these guys are a joke. I'm sorry. They could have picked better opponents than the Usos. And not to say the Usos were bad, because the Usos fought pretty good last night in their match with the Shield. And then, of course, we saw what the Shield did with Mark Henry. And it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here with that. But I just, come on. Seriously, the Real Americans, give me a break already, please.
Of all the names they could have come up with. Coulter, We the People. There's so many names going with the Real Americans. Come on. One of them's Jericho.
If they come out and start doing the hope polls, I am going to start cracking up.
Talking about the real American, I'm surprised they didn't come out with Real American from Hulk Hogan. I'm sure that place would have been like, you got to be kidding me, even more. But no, like I said, as far as this whole Brock Heyman Punk thing, it's going to be good, I think, hopefully. It just amazes me. I mean, did Brock obviously, again, kiss Vince's ass, or Heyman kiss Vince's ass to bring Brock back in? Because, I mean, Brock was in for only that 1 week stretch, and now apparently he might be back in now, again, for maybe just a short time, probably, because, I mean, he just comes in and out when he wants to. I mean, what's up with that? Maybe we could shed some light on that, possibly.
It's because Brock Lesnar doesn't have to work the schedule that everybody else does afterward, because he's Brock fucking Lesnar.
Yeah, that's one of the things that actually drove him away from wrestling the first time he was there. He did not like being on the road all the time. He did not like traveling. Otherwise, he really didn't have any problems with wrestling. He went to MMA because he could stay home, he can train in his own gym, and then go every couple of months and go and do a fight. That's how they were able really to get him back to the WWE, because they said, listen, you can work a set number of dates, we'll still pay you a boatload of money because we know who you are, we know that you're worth it for the draw. And, you know, it stinks because, yeah, we would all love to see Brock Lesnar more, but at least we get to see him at the times we do, and that's why I'm always okay with these part-timers. It's like, hey, even if it's just that one little period, we're getting this really cool person coming in, and we're getting to see these dream matches we wouldn't have seen. I mean, Punk and Lesnar, I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, that promo was hot as hell. Sorry.
It was fantastic. It was probably one of the better promos of the year. Where do you think they're going to go now with this whole AJ Dolph Big E thing? I mean, obviously, the big question is where's Del Rio going to go with the championship, but more so, what are they going to do as far as Dolph and Big E? How do you see that feud going? I mean, I have my reservations about this one a little bit. It's
going to be a quick feud to establish Dolph, like cement him as a face, get him out of AJ and Big E. You know, I doubt anything's going to be happening that's going to be major between these guys. It will just be a quick blow-off, and then Dolph moves on. Maybe a pay-per-view match.
For Dolph, it'll be easy. We know Dolph is going to be okay going on his own path, but we were talking about a little bit of this before, only in a very grotesque way. But the power duo of AJ and Big E just is awkward. I mean, what do you do? Okay, maybe you can put like a U.S. title on Big E, keep the Divas title on AJ, and you have two champions sitting side by side, but what do they do?
It's going to be the muscle. That's it. They're not doing anything with him. He's been the muscle
since he got in there. We've seen that.
Yeah, but that's all it's going to be.
What's he going to do, beat away Divas?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's going to be doing. He's going to be playing the role of that a Diva usually does in the male champions match, where the guy ends up winning the match due to some interference. He's going to be interfering. He's going to look intimidating, and that's it. There's not going to be anything huge unless they end up, you know, bringing Caitlyn in with Dolph and having those two pair up to face AJ and Big E, which I hope they don't go down that route. I just want this quickly done, over with, so they can move on.
You know what?
Well, go ahead. I was going to say, before you go on, I was going to ask you real quick, one last thing real quick, and I'll let it loose. As far as this whole Triple H, Brad Max, Stephanie thing goes, do you think this is only a short-term answer as far as the GM thing goes, and they're going to get a better GM down the road, like, say, a Booker or Teddy to take over, maybe now that Vicky's gone, or are they really, is this just a joke-type thing until they get a real solid person that can run the show?
I still think it's going to be Flair. I think they're building this up to get Ric Flair in. And this is the reason why the McMahons are in there.
Yeah, and the question is, when do you bring in Flair, though? Do you bring him up maybe sometime after SummerSlam? Do you bring him up in the fall? I mean, it's going to be interesting what they do with him, though.
I say give it another 3 months. Maddox is probably going to end up getting fired from his job and then moved onto other things on the roster, maybe wrestling or announcing or something like that. Well, I hope not announcing. But Flair will be brought in to sort of handle things. They may go back to the storyline that they were hinting at before of them firing both GMs and having Flair come in to control both Raw and SmackDown, which truthfully I wouldn't want. I'd rather just have Flair on Raw and let Booker and Teddy have their little feud going on SmackDown, but we'll see what happens. But in regards to all of this, I believe they're using this to bring Flair in.
Yeah. All right, guys, good enough. I'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, JD, always good to hear from you. Take care, man.
You too.
See you later, JD.
All right, and from JD, we actually have another caller on the line. They've been very patient. They've been holding about 2 minutes. Caller from 407. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? This is Robert from Orlando, Florida.
Robert from Orlando. Thanks for calling into the Mega Powers Monday Night Raw post show. How you doing? What'd you think of tonight's Raw?
I thought actually tonight's Raw was actually awesome. I actually tuned in from the chat from last night. I think it was actually, I guess from Paden's perspective, it was probably much better than Money in the Bank from last night. But it was definitely one of the best Raws. I probably since New Jersey.
Oh, who are you? You're a Smark Out regular?
I am. This is Awesome Piano Man 1021.
Oh, Awesome Piano Man. Awesome, man. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, I definitely was not very happy with Money in the Bank last night, and I feel like some of those negative feelings may have still held over. I thought tonight was an okay Raw that had its good moments and its bad moments, and I think I just still have a little ill will. I mean, I didn't really get anyone else's overall opinion. What was your favorite parts about tonight's Raw?
Well, I think that actually, as much as I know that some people have kind of remorse, including myself on RVD, I think actually he had a great welcome back match against Chris Jericho. I think that they carried each other really well tonight, and I know that John Cena kind of carried it over way too long at the end, but we knew that the obvious choice would have been Daniel Bryan, and I think that from my original perspective, I think that Daniel Bryan didn't even need the Money in the Bank to actually be the number one contender because he was the obvious number one contender for the past few weeks, and it was just cool to see. Yeah, it's just great to see the reaction of the crowd that he deserves that he deserves the number one contendership. And as far as just responding from the previous caller, I think that also too that I don't know what you guys think, but what do you think if it was rumored to be Dolph Ziggler versus Big E for SummerSlam, but I was thinking, what if it was a triple threat with since AJ kind of disqualified Dolph last night, they're probably going to do a triple threat with Big E, Dolph, and Del Rio.
Oh God! For a second there, I thought you were going to say Big E, Dolph, and AJ.
Mixed gender three-way.
What do you guys think about it if they did a three-way match like that?
I don't think they're going that route. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to have just a singles match between Dolph and Big E, and we're going to see somebody else next week get in line with Del Rio. I think that that's the whole reason why they actually had that Ziggler and Del Rio match tonight, was to kind of just go, look, this is the last one between these two. Now we're going to move on to Big E, and if it's going to be anybody, I think it's going to be either Jericho or RVD, and that's why the two of those were thrown into that kind of match to just sort of go, well, we'll give you something to put you guys in the spotlight. And if I had to go between the two of those two, I think I would go with RVD. They got to ride this wave of him being a new, fresh guy, use him to put over Del Rio, and then, of course, we sit the next couple months with a boring Del Rio reign.
And then we cry.
Mm-hmm.
And then other people laugh at us.
I sit there going, he's overrated. I don't want to watch this.
Why do they keep giving him the title? Why? That's how you cry, okay?
Yay.
So, Rob, let me ask you your high point of Raw tonight and your low point of Raw tonight.
Oh, man. I think that my high point, Jesus, there's like a tie between the Wyatt family and the Punk Lesnar Heyman promo.
Okay.
And she's low. I have to go with the Real Americans. They came out pretty cocky, and all of a sudden they just lose to the Usos, who were voted in, and it's just like, all right.
Wait, but they're American made.
American males.
That was coming.
Oh goodness. So let me ask you, what do you think about our current Money in the Bank holders, Orton and Damien Sandow?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted Sandow because I think that I think he's ready for a big push, and I can see him actually holding the briefcase as well too, and I think that it's going to be good with a feud of Sandow versus Rhodes down the line. But Orton, I thought that was kind of random a little bit, but I was like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I kind of predicted RVD actually to get the Money in the Bank, but I kind of swayed away from Daniel Bryan because I just already knew he was going to be number one contender.
One last question I got for you. What do you think about Brad Maddox's first night officially as Raw GM?
Well, yeah, just in response from earlier as well too. I I think that they're just really just trying to test the waters a little bit. I think that's what they were kind of doing with AJ for a little bit too. Just something to do. And maybe, if it's not really working, just like what Burhan was talking about, was just they're just going to fire him, he's going to be gone, but he's going to do something else. But for now, he's okay. I think he's just filling the role fine. He has the greatest facial expressions at least. But other than that, I'm okay with it.
All right, Rob. Anything else you want to talk about in Raw tonight?
I'm cool, man. But appreciate you guys for all you do.
Oh, thank you, man. We appreciate having fans like you. Yeah. We appreciate
you're one
your
of the best fans we got, man.
If we didn't have so many questions, we wouldn't be able to make good jokes.
Oh, I was just thinking about that, man. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I joke with Paden too, and he cries, and I laugh, and I point.
we all had a good cry last night after Daniel Bryan didn't win Money in the Bank. But I think we're okay.
We were cry backing. It's all right.
All right, Rob. I'm going to let you go. Thanks a lot for calling in, man.
You bet, guys. You have a good night.
Have a good night,
too, mate.
Maddox is God.
Maddox is God. All right, so let's pull back into our rundown of the show here. Mark Henry came out. He gave a really good, heartfelt speech. I was almost worried he was coming out in a suit again. It wasn't the salmon suit, thank goodness. It was a gray suit. Really was worried he was going to go into another retirement speech, but really he just conceded John Cena was the better man that night, and John Cena is the greatest champion of all time. And then he gets interrupted by the Shield.
Mark Henry's the man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Mark Henry versus the Shield, is this what we're going to be seeing next?
No, I don't think so. I think the Shield just came out just to, get themselves over, and it writes Henry off his season for a couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're writing
if he comes back, if he comes back, maybe they do something. But
you got to think going into SummerSlam, they might want to revive the old the Shield 6-man tag match for the pay-per-view.
It's true, especially since Ambrose really doesn't have a clear United States title #1 contender right now. Has he even really defended the title since there, other than...
That's Payback.
Kane.
Payback, yeah.
Oh, he did. You're right. He did defend it against Kane.
Yeah. But the one thing I noticed about that segment when we talked about it earlier, when Ambrose and Rollins had that audible deep groan trying to get Henry up for the powerbomb. That sounded like they couldn't get him up.
Well, not surprisingly. Neither Rollins nor Ambrose are very buff dudes. They're not tiny twigs. Well, Rollins is kind of, but to be able to pick up a guy like Mark Henry, even with all three of them, is nothing to shake a stick at.
As in the words of the great Scott Steiner, he's back!
Oh, he's huge. But that was a deep, audible groan, and I would have laughed if they weren't able to get him up and they just dropped him. That would have probably...
I need to do some push-ups.
Hey, Rollins is a huge CrossFit guy. If you follow him on social media, that's pretty much all he posts is pictures of him working out, what he's listening to, and what he's eating.
Hey, I'm with Kevin Ashton. He's gone to the gym, tear their quads,
CrossFit is a gym. It's a real gym.
No, but it's not a Kevin Nash gym. It's not a gym where you juice, okay? Where you take roids.
Where you do
roids, motherfucker. Let's do roids.
You do actual functional exercise.
Be nice to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash hasn't done anything stupid in a long time.
Unless he tore his quad.
As far as when it comes to Mark Henry and the Shield, I think we're getting another situation. It's what I was talking about earlier. This is only the first week right after Money in the Bank, and they don't usually set up every single match the first episode of Raw.
Yeah, I was actually noticing this when I was setting up the bracket for the next session in the Fantasy League. There's a extended period of time between now and SummerSlam. It's a whole 5 weeks.
Yeah, so they've got more than enough time that they can figure this out. I think that Mark Henry is going to be facing the Shield in a 6-man tag, and that's probably more so as a means to get all the people on the card than it is to actually have a 6-man tag. Because, we've pointed it out before. The Shield were previously in the pre-show with Money in the Bank. Ambrose hasn't really been a huge focal point with the United States Championship, and he doesn't have anybody gunning for the title at the moment. So it's not like they've got this built-in feud that they have to do with Ambrose and all that. They could do Ambrose and the Shield, the rest of the Shield, against Mark Henry and 2 other people, and those 2 other people, we'll figure that out next week or the week after.
As far as a contender for the U.S. title, you got to consider Kofi Kingston's due back any week now and he's probably going to be looking to get that title back around him. But yeah, Drew, are you back around with us? You got any thoughts about the Shield attacking Mark Henry?
Shield suck.
Oh,
I love the Shield.
Okay. Let's first off, is the mic decent? Okay.
You sound great, actually.
Oh man. Okay, now let me get the lowdown on the whole Mark Henry and Shield segment. Mark Henry was getting a little bit of sexual chocolate chance. You know, people be hating on him, but you know, this is good. This is very good. I can't wait to see what this leads to.
Fantastic. Anyone else any thoughts on Shield and Henry?
I love that sexual chocolate chant. New York crowd is the best wrestling crowd.
Hey, I might have been too young for it, but I do enjoy a good sexual chocolate chant.
You know, I don't think we talked about it at all. They were in Brooklyn, New York tonight. They were at the Barclays Center, the first Monday Night Raw to ever be at the Barclays Center, which is supposed to be one of the most technologically advanced arenas in the country now. I mean, it was just recently built in the last couple of years.
Last year.
Last year. Wonderful crowd that was there tonight. On fire. Wasn't too annoying. They had the what chants going in a couple points, which bothered me, but I mean, compared to Sioux City, Iowa, that we had a few weeks ago, and even Baltimore last week was not very good. It's good to have a hot crowd again.
All I'm going to say is, in the immortal words of the notorious B.I.G., we're Brooklyn at. Yo, fuck you,
Burhan. You just don't like it
that's right.
You just don't like it because we're real Americans, okay?
Are you American males?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, yes.
So we know that Brandon's Buff Daddy then.
Exactly, baby. Because I'm buff, I'm tough, and you know that I'm the stuff.
Boo.
I was doing the
Yo, when are we doing Superstar Scores Buff Bagwell?
It's a possibility for this week.
Yes!
It has to happen.
Yes!
Oh my God.
There's three things going around for this week. It might be that, it might be finisher versus finisher, or it might be a top rope list. I don't know.
Or Superstar Scores Scotty Riggs.
Who?
The other guy of American Males.
Oh, the guy with the pirate eye patch who stole a bunch of listeners from us on Keeping Kayfabe that one week?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, the next match we got in this show was Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler in a rematch from last night, even though it was not a title match. Ziggler had the match in the bag at the end when suddenly the bell starts ringing, and we look over and it's AJ who had rung the bell. And since AJ just randomly rung it, the match was not officially over, so the ref told it to continue. Del Rio capitalizes with a kick to Dolph Ziggler's head and pins him for the victory. After the match, AJ starts wailing on Ziggler like just total psycho crazy bitch. He tries to hold her away, but when he turns around, he gets run down by Big E Langston like a train, and Big E does his finisher, whatever that's supposed to be called, and whatever part of the body that it's supposed to hurt.
The big ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to think of what it was. Good call, Burhan. You're on top of everything today.
AJ kisses Dolph,
Especially
and
myself.
they'll leave the ring. So I raised this question in the chat. What part of the body is that move supposed to hurt? Is it the knees? Is it the ankles?
It's supposed to hurt your brain because it's so fucking bad.
It's supposed to hurt your ass.
It drops them on there. It's like a belly flop, basically, is what they're doing.
Oh, God, I hate belly flops.
But they have his arm as padding.
No, maybe it's just, supposed to put you to sleep or something.
It says awkward looking as Big E Langston's body frame.
God, no, it's as big as his boobs. That's for damn sure. He's the biggest boobs I know.
Nothing? Okay.
I didn't even hear what you said.
Yeah, no.
It says awkward looking as his haircut.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Pity laughs now. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was...
So what everyone think of this match, this segment, all that? Tony, I think you were saying the worst ending to a match ever?
For this match?
Yeah, is that what you were saying?
No.
I swear that was you who said that, wasn't it?
Worst
Me?
thing to a match ever?
Yeah.
No,
you.
I heard someone say this is worse than last night's ending.
Yeah, I said that too.
Yeah.
This was worse than last night's ending, which was total BS too. And I don't want to get too deep into our thoughts on Payback, although it's inevitable. We're talking about the Monday Night Raw immediately after Payback. But you want to hear
especially since Money in the Bank just happened.
It's so bad he forgot about the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm just going retroactive to the last pay-per-view I wanted to remember. Money in the Bank. If you want to hear our thoughts on Money in the Bank, tune into this week's Smark Out Moment, and we'll be having our full Money in the Bank review on there. I don't even remember where I was going with that now.
Well, see,
But he said that was the worst match ending.
Here's what I want to know. I mean, none of us were watching the WWE app, so it just seemed kind of random. that AJ was there, and I guess they probably established that she was out there in the WWE app.
Oh, why didn't they tell us? Of all the times they don't tell us to look at the app.
Yeah, or they never even made mention of her being there. She just was just randomly there. Like she just jumped the guardrail almost and like rang the bell. It was weird. It was a little off. Had they already established that she was, there, like just put a camera on her before he did that, it would have made a little bit more sense. But because they didn't, devote that time to do so, it really just seemed dumb. Dumb as hell.
Dumb as dicks.
Dumb as dicks, man.
Any other thoughts on Del Rio Ziggler? Anyone?
For me, again, I just don't want to see it happen again between these two. I like Ziggler. I just really get annoyed with Del Rio being champion. I don't think he's a believable champion at the moment. I don't even think he's a believable heel because he's still walking around like he's got the fans' admiration. He still has that face Del Rio music going on. I would have rather had him go back to the old ways of doing things or look more aggressive in the ring. The way the match ended was kind of cheap, just due to the fact that AJ, you didn't really need to end it like that. They could have had Big E come in and attack him as he was going to win and skip all that AJ bull crap, but I guess they want to get this over and done with quickly, establish Ziggler as a face, and move on.
Yeah, I think it's finally 100% that Dolph Ziggler's a babyface.
Yep. Finally.
Did you ever think we'd see that, though? I mean, yeah, for as long as he had been a heel, and how heelish he was being at times, did you ever think you'd really see him as a face?
Absolutely.
Nope.
I mean, he always had that little bit of a crowd behind him. I mean, he's a high-energy star. He's almost made to be a babyface. I think all he needs now is a snappy finish. That's what every good babyface needs, is a snappy finish, and it's not the zigzag.
I liked when he used to do the sleeper hold. I thought the sleeper hold was mad old school, and
it was cool in old school. But I'm saying he needs a snappy finish. He could do the sleeper hold as part of his repertoire, but the super kick, that's what I think he needs to pull out more.
Well, I've always said
he would.
I've always said if there's one person that Ziggler reminds me of, it is a young Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah. Wait, don't you mean the Stevie kick?
See, I don't know. Ziggler's frame seems a little bit like he should have some kind of a move that maybe doesn't necessarily have, like, I can't think of a good way to put this. Like, I kind of think if the DDT was as good of a finisher as it used to be, he could have some kind of form of a DDT that would work, but you can't just do that now.
That DDT he does when he like jumps up on top of a person and just slowly pulls both of their weight down into a DDT is actually pretty sick.
Yeah,
but the DDT is oversaturated. So
exactly. He can't use that as a finisher now because nobody would buy into it. I mean, look at Drew McIntyre. He had to try to make it look more forceful, and it still was just like, he still got his rookie finisher, DDT finisher.
I've got it. Stamp on the foot to the DDT. The sweet shin music.
I've always thought the Enziguri was underrated.
Is that really a finisher though?
Well, it's not like the way that it is because of the fact that it's so underrated, but it looks like it could fucking hurt. You know what I mean?
Like a kick to the head. I mean, Del Rio does that sick Enziguri he does in the corner.
Right, and if you get somebody like Ziggler who, if he's facing somebody like Big Show, and he's got him down on his knees, and he does that kind of a variation of the Enziguri with the drive-by kick that MVP used to do. You do that, and you get that little smack that happens in that. It looks like it could maybe knock you out for the 3 count.
And plus, it would accentuate Dolph Ziggler's boots more, because Dolph Ziggler has awesome boots.
Yes, he does.
With the giant straps on them.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan, were you talking about the giant boot straps the other day?
Yes, when we were talking about Crush, and he had those it was great. I love giant boot straps.
So there we go. A similarity between early Crush and Dolph Ziggler.
I just like that style of boot. Like, the whole lace-up thing just seems so plain and tired to me. A good strap-up boot.
Well, it could be worse. They could have kick guards when they don't even kick.
Yeah, please. Lord knows I've seen that enough in independent wrestling.
It's kind of a shame that Jericho uses the code breaker, because I think that could work with Ziggler.
There's no reason why they couldn't become buddies and he could pass it off to him. I mean, Jericho is winding down.
I like the zigzag as a move. It's an original move. You really don't see anybody do anything really like it.
How about wrestling?
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's basically just a side Russian leg sweep almost.
Or it's more like it's actually more technically like a flashback, I guess.
Didn't Gregory Helms do a move that was like that?
Wow, you're really dating me with that reference. This was pre-Hurricane Helms?
No, this is like the post-Hurricane Helms when he had that really long light heavyweight title.
Yeah.
This is pre-Drew White.
No. This is the beginning of the genesis of Drew White. Okay.
you were a big Greg Helms fan when you first.
No. I have that Royal Rumble DVD where he did win the cruiserweight title.
Oh.
Yeah.
He had that thing forever. He had that for like a year and a half.
Yeah, it was a very long title reign.
Was that the moment?
I don't remember what his finisher was though. That's too far away from now though.
Was that the moment of the genesis of the White?
No.
Well, speaking of the White, we're going to go to the Black with R-Truth coming out, and he's back.
That's awful.
Stay in your lane, Paden. Stay in your lane.
And you wonder why people call you racist on Facebook. Really.
Terrible.
Well, hey, it's not my fault R-Truth came out shucking and jiving again,
doing
his "What's Up" rap. I mean, okay, do you guys get it? Do you see what color he is? Do you get it? Do you get it?
No, I could see that he was kind of coffee.
I mean, Jesus Christ, why not just have R-Truth come out with a bucket of KFC and a watermelon? Really?
It would probably get him over more than what he is now.
Them is shine your shoes, Mr. McMahon? I mean, come on, really. I always
do not leave your house tonight.
Whatever, man.
I'll tell you what's not up right now, stock in R-Truth. He is looking the worst that he's been since he came back to WWE.
Yeah, they just took away anything that made him relevant, like the little Jimmy's gone, the crazy R-Truth with the googly eyes. Well, they showed a little bit of him with the googly eyes when he was attacked by the Wyatts, but they destroyed any push that this guy had, any relevancy that he had in the upper mid card. I don't know what their train of thought is on this.
Oh Lord, let me go out and give you a good match now, everybody.
Well, we did not get
God that they got rid of that.
We did not get to see an R-Truth match because, as Burhan stated, just as he was greeting Brooklyn, he was interrupted by the Wyatts, who I really like the way that they
come out.
I really like the way that they interrupt. Like, he'll be talking, and all of a sudden the screen gets that melted film look to it, and it cuts to him blowing the lantern out. We're here.
Yeah, I wasn't totally sold on this. Like, those vignettes leading up to it were great. I love those. I thought how they came out and attacked Kane was good, but I was like, I wasn't totally sold on it. This week, they got me.
Well, we had to hear Bray Wyatt speak in person. It's one thing to speak in a video, and it's another thing to speak live in front of a crowd.
Yeah, no.
And he nailed it.
Yeah, they got me. Hook, line, and sinker, bro. I am a Bray Wyatt fan now, and he instantly moved into my top 10 guys in wrestling right now.
All I have to say is, Tony Mango, I told you so.
Well, we get the another Wyatt beatdown where the two big guys beat down R-Truth, throw him out of the ring. Bray Wyatt's sitting in his chair, rocking in it. Finally, Wyatt gets up, goes into the ring, and as I said, he cuts an absolutely wonderful speech in the ring. R-Truth eventually tries to come back into it. Bray Wyatt baits him in, and he says,
I'm right here.
Right here. He sends the two bigger guys out of the ring. He's like, come on in.
Me, bro.
R-Truth gets into the ring, but it was his mistake as the two big guys attack him from the sides. I'm just calling the two big guys. I'm too lazy to say Rowan and Harper. That's their names, right?
Roharp.
Roharp. Yes, that's their tag team name, Roharp.
Or Roper.
No, I like Roharp.
Yeah, Roharp's better.
Roharp's way better.
Car Ramrod. I freaking lost my train of thought now. Bray Wyatt says, R-Truth, you're not the one we want. Kane, if you want to find us, follow the buzzards.
Chilling, dude. Chilling.
And the anal rape.
It's like he watched what Waylon Mercy did way back in '96 and just took it to a whole nother level. They said, here, this is what we want you to look like. Take that and run with it. And he's doing that.
Apparently, Dusty's the force behind him.
Yeah, I can tell. This definitely has a little bit of a dream flair to it, baby. Yes.
Speaking of a dream.
Yes.
What the heck has happened to Cody Rhodes?
What do you mean?
Where's Cody?
He attacked Damien Sandow tonight.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must have been asleep through that.
He got like a huge cheer too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Cody
Awesome.
Rhodes is on the rise. What are you talking about?
Thanks for that.
What's that?
No, I was gonna say Cody Rhodes is a face now, bro.
Yeah, he's on fire right now.
He was. You could tell he was a face last night when he started hitting everybody with his finishing moves, and like he literally even played to the crowd.
No, yeah, you know he's a face because he looked at the crowd and said, "Come on!"
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all I have to say is, thank God I kept him on my team. See? Things are looking up for Cody.
He hasn't won yet.
He will do. He
Yeah,
will.
You know what I realized? Big E Langston didn't wrestle a single match this entire session.
I know. At the moment, he's just AJ's bitch. His theme music should be lighted up.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, pulling back into Monday Night Raw, we get a pretty cool little video package about the WWE Performance Center. I'm happy about this. I don't see how anyone could have any qualms about this. This can only do great things as long as they keep the kind of attitude that they're saying about it now. I mean, it's a singleized place where everyone can go and train in a room together, and 7 rings that they have in a single room. They're going to have classroom-type environments where they're going to be teaching history and theory and all those other types of things. They have video production facilities where people can go in a green screen or go into another place so they can practice talking to a camera. This is great.
I think
and
it's awesome.
also it's going to help like the university students there as well, who are basically using this as part of their course credit. I think it's awesome. Totally awesome.
Yeah, it looks like something that I would go down to actually tour, because it actually looks really cool to just like walk around that place and see what's going on down there.
I think this is actually one of the most impressive things I've seen come from WWE in a long time. I thought that this Performance Center thing was kind of ridiculous when I heard that they were going to have, like, you know, this giant room with, like, 5 fucking rings in it and all that. I'm like, what are we just trying to do, like, this gimmick shit where we're like, throw everything in there and something will stick, like that kind of crap. But, I mean, this looks fantastic.
And the great thing about it as well, they're not just training wrestlers, they're training refs, they're training production people. It's great. It means that the WWE is going to have access to full in-house staff.
Yeah, they're finally going to have a true farm system. I mean, NXT came, or FCW NXT was kind of close. Now with the Performance Center, they really have a true like a real sports franchise. They have a farm system and a place where you can develop talent at the best possibly they can.
And I think something that's very telling is if you watch all the videos of them with the press and the presentation and everything, the big representatives of WWE were Triple H and Stephanie, and no sign whatsoever of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, this is really the first thing that Triple H has really taken the ball and kind of run with the company. And I think this will ultimately define his legacy as a corporate executive for the company.
No, I agree. I really believe that the company's in safe hands with Triple H. He's done a bang-up job.
Maybe they open one up in their corporate headquarters in Connecticut for guys up here. I'd like to see them open up a lot of these kind of places.
I think for now, let's see how the first one works out and then go from there.
Yeah.
Well, they have to do that, but yeah, pretty much. You're talking about like doing developmental territories again.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of that.
Well, why not? Like, get people to get some favoritism. They can go to an arena that's close by and see their hometown hero, like, wrestling a match. Like, hey, there's a guy, he's trained to be a wrestler who's from Poughkeepsie. Go and support him. This is awesome. And it'll have the WWE's budget backing it, so you know that it's going to be known. It's not going to be like a lot of the other indie shows. No offense, Brandon, but,
no offense. None taken.
You know what the difference would be if you see WWE promoting signs for an event compared to any of the other ones.
The difference is that there's a budget.
Yeah. So it can only be great. It can even be a place like, you send one guy out there once in a while, like, hey, come to this event and see these locals and also see Cody Rhodes or whoever else they want to throw in there, and that could be the big name guy that's there, and it would allow him to be featured there. Like, people are going to be going there like Cody. They're not even going to be thinking about John Cena at that event.
Justin Gabriel, somebody like that who really has nothing else better to do.
And I think Brandon actually brought this up. If they're going to do different locations, why not international? Do one in Japan. Do one in England.
Well,
do one in Mexico.
They were actually going to do that at one point, but they kind of canned it for some reason. Maybe they'll bring it back up eventually.
I think we will not see the last of these performance centers. I think given within a year, if they haven't announced that they're planning to build one, I will be surprised. But we're going to see a lot more of these. And I would absolutely love to see them go back to a territorial developmental system.
All right, guys. With that, we got a caller on the line. Caller from 407 area code. Caller from 407. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Robert in Austin. I'm in 1021 again. Just wanted to mention about hey, what's up? It's about the WWE Performance Center. There's actually a conference video that they got to talk a little bit more about it, and I think that's which is pretty cool. It's pretty they're very interactive with I think they're going to be doing a lot of recording of what they're training in, and they can actually also live stream or send out recordings over to the Connecticut headquarters as well. So they're going to be very interactive with what's going on from down here all the way up to Connecticut.
Now you're from Florida, right? How close are you to the to Full Sail where they're doing the NXT tapings? Have you ever been to one? Do you plan to go to one?
Yeah, I went to one, which was actually they did it over in Kissimmee, which is probably maybe 15 minutes away from here in Orlando. But the Full Sail University is probably about 20 minutes from my house, and so that's pretty much where the Performance Center is as well too.
Hmm. Are you excited? Have you driven by the building and seen it? Do you plan to go visit the actual center now that it's open? Do you even know if they're even going to be letting people to tour it? Are they doing that kind of thing?
That's a good question. I'll probably I'll have to let you guys know later on. But because quite honestly, I was surprised they opened it up on Thursday, and I was like, oh, cool.
That escalated quickly.
We're giving you a homework assignment.
It caught me off. I was surprised.
I could have sworn that during that little video presentation they had for it, they had the Florida governor be like, yeah, it'll bring in tourists for the WWE into Florida. So I thought that, right there I just assumed that it was going to be a tourist spot.
But we're still going to tax you people.
I think they'll probably have it sort of like how government, not to say it's the same thing, but how government buildings are where it has a functionality to it, but at the same time they do have a tour a day or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, also, Piano Man, you have a homework assignment. Go and tour the WWE production. Go to the goddamn facility.
And bring a Smark Out Moment sign.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'll
troll Paden.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. No, I'll bring the Smark Out sign that I brought to the NXT taping from a while back. And, definitely take some pictures out there. But I think that I think this one is because it's going to help the employment statuses over here in Orlando or in Florida at least, because Rick Scott, who's the governor out here, is really trying to help out with the unemployment rate down here. Two is I think they're really going to go really mainstream in Orlando, because there's possibility that they're going to close the NBA City down here in Islands of Adventure, the Universal City Walk.
Really?
They're thinking of opening a WWE Hall of Fame out there. I was like, interesting.
Ooh,
and
that sounds freaky.
Yeah, and I think the third thing is I think they're really trying to take over Orlando, because they're pretty much trying to kick out TNA from our place. So,
well, the only thing I need to ask is, do you have a roommate, and can I move in with you?
I'm actually living with my parents, but I'm going to be getting married next year, so
that's totally
my roommate will be my wife.
Congrats, Robert.
I'll stay in your basement and just eat scraps. It's all right.
What's that?
So I'll stay in your basement and eat scraps. No one will know that I'm there.
He lives in Florida. They don't have basements in Florida.
We don't have basements. Yeah, we don't have basements in Florida. But
I'll just live in a swamp somewhere then. It's all right.
The whole state is flat, bro. They don't have basements over there.
Yeah, pretty much. But you never know. Like you guys said, it's kind of like a testing grounds probably. But I think that it is getting pretty large out here in the Florida area, especially since TNA used to be over in the Universal they used to tape their shows over at Universal. I never been to one, and I know they were giving tickets for free out there, but whatever. I didn't feel like going.
Pretty bad when you can't even motivate yourself to go to a free taping that's pretty much right in your town.
Right.
Yeah,
TNA's so awful.
All right, Rob, well, we look forward to hearing about the WWE Performance Center if you get a chance to go. Thanks for calling in again, dude.
Yeah, you bet. I'll send it out to you guys.
Take care, man.
Goodbye.
You too.
All right, guys. Next match we had on the show, it was a match that was to be decided by the fans on the WWE app. It was the Real Americans versus a team of the fans' choice between the Primetime Players, the Usos, and some other team. I don't remember.
Tons of funk.
Wow!
The Pillow Fluffers.
The Pillow Fluffers.
The Dancing Bears.
Brothers.
Primetime Players got screwed.
We get the Real Americans coming out. Zeb Coulter's talking about how people are speaking all different types of weird languages in the melting pot known as Brooklyn. And he said, if you're going to call yourselves a melting pot, it should be more like a porta potty.
I thought that was funny.
And he used the same joke that he used at WrestleMania about people are speaking something not called Yiddish.
He gets good heat no matter what he does. Or anytime he gets on the microphone, he knows exactly what to say to elicit a reaction from the crowd, and that's what he's, always done or throughout his entire career.
Too much Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
You probably heard the song that you put on for the pre-show.
He did. He told me about it, too.
So we find out who the fans voted for, and it was the Usos. So we get the Usos versus the Real Americans. It was a fine little tag match, I guess. The Usos win with a quick sunset flip, and that was it.
That was like 5 minutes long. It was woefully short. I turned around and that match was over with.
I guess no one else has anything to use.
Yeah, it was too short.
I closed my eyes and opened them again, and the match was over.
I guess WWE is really pushing the Usos as a credible tag team, I guess, now.
Well, they have to credit somebody because, again, they had a credible tag team, and then they broke them up in Team Hell No.
Yeah. Well, you can't have that team be around forever, though. Remember that.
All right, fellas, next match that we had, since we don't seem to have much to say about this, was Damien Sandow, the new World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank holder, against Christian.
Ooh.
Sandow comes out showing off his briefcase to the crowd, getting mild cheers, which is kind of hard to read, because New York is one of those crowds that's always, they're not going to cheer for who you tell them to, Yeah. So you would expect a bigger reaction for Damien Sandow, but there wasn't.
There was a smattering of applause, I would say.
Yeah.
I heard a big pop at the beginning. I don't know what you guys were talking about.
I honestly heard a big pop when he came out.
Cody Rhodes' good name, that's why.
Yeah. Well, as this match, I believe, actually ended up, it was won by Christian. After the match was done, Sandow grabs a mic and says, "And you're still your intellectual savior, Damien Sandow," as he holds up his Money in the Bank, showing it off. But as soon as he turns around to put the mic down, he is greeted by a spear by Cody Rhodes, who beats him down and chases him off. Cody Rhodes, clad in a suit and, of course, mustache.
Mustachio.
He looks like an aggressive porn star now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to shave that thing off now.
Now, when he's in the suit, he looks like an 80s cop.
No.
Yeah, probably.
I
think that's what we're getting at here.
I don't think he can shave it. I mean, I think that's half the reason why he's got people behind him so much.
Yeah, that's
Unfortunately, it took a mustache. It takes a mustache for him and a beard for Bryan for people to take him seriously.
He's a mustache away from a big push.
And I'll tell you why he has to have it, because eventually he has to turn heel again and go in a hair versus mustache match.
Yes.
Or hell, that's what they could even do with him and Sandow. Forget the Money in the Bank. They could do a mustache versus beard match.
You know what they could do? They could turn the Crossroads into the mustache ride.
Yes, that is the funniest thing you have ever said. Ever.
Yeah, give it a 4.
Isn't that just the name that Joey Ryan was using?
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh, now it's not cool anymore.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
Tony, you've ruined my joke.
I know, I had to.
For shame, Mango. For shame.
That was Joey Ryan's finisher.
Did you know that, Burhan?
No.
All right.
Joey Ryan was like relevant for like a cup of coffee. I didn't even know he had a finisher.
That's fair.
You know what I think would be really funny? If Damien Sandow starts referring to the Money in the Bank as the tender in the receptacle.
Yeah. You know what Joey Ryan's finisher was? The pink slip.
Oh. It was tender in the repository. That's what it is. Tender in the repository.
Pretty soon he's going to be doing that finisher to themselves.
Tender with the suppository?
Tender in the repository instead of money in the bank. Tender in the repository.
You talking about money in her bank?
What about the book depository?
Oh gosh. Next we had a Divas match: Naomi versus Brie Bella. Not the worst Divas match I've ever seen, honestly. I'm actually kind of interested to see how they can develop Naomi into a singleized character if they decide to do that. Naomi won with a flying crossbody, and that was that.
Yeah, I was taking a piss when this was happening.
That was a really long piss, man.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're going to, if any of the two of them is going to be a professional wrestler, it's going to be her. Obviously, the other ones.
Well, we don't know where she is right now. She hasn't wrestled in a long time.
The drizzling shits, that I like to call, as I like to say. But
that
was the best Bella's match I've ever seen ever. Like, ever. And how long have they been with the company? At least 6 years?
Give or take a good 5 or 6.
Yeah, they're learning from Daniel Bryan. That's probably what it is.
No, and John Cena. John Cena, the technician behind the whole company. Yes, they're learning from John Cena.
Cena trained Daniel Bryan. What the fuck are you on about, man?
Okay. No, Shawn Michaels. Shawn
Michaels took his money.
What are you guys talking about? I thought The Miz was Daniel Bryan's pro.
Oh, man.
See, look, Paden has all the facts for us.
Yeah. Did there? I see what you did there.
It was on TV.
You're funny. You're a funny man.
So once again, I guess you don't have a lot to say about this match.
It's a Divas match. Is there really anything more to say to it? There was tits and ass. You saw
there was a whole lot of ass.
And Naomi's ass.
Whole lot.
Oh my God!
You saw the top of Brie Bella's ass crack, and
yes,
a million DVRs were paused and screen caps were loaded.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of memes coming out of that, and a lot of close-up pictures.
Just slow it down and just tugging it into the television.
A lot of men who don't have access to porn are going to be tugging away.
A lot of men who have access to porn, they're going to be tugging away to that. This guy included.
Yeah.
I don't like where this is going, so I'm going to be taking a next segment, which started with CM Punk coming out and saying, I know where Paul Heyman is in the building. I know that Brock Lesnar is in the building. I know that Curtis Axel is in the building. Tony, you want to keep that going?
Nah, it was funnier in the chat when I said it.
He knows that this is the moment of the genesis of No Go Like Hotter.
The punchline was the person in the crowd that nobody knows.
Buster Roberts was in the building. Everybody was there.
Punk just cuts to the chase. He calls him out. Paul Heyman comes out first. Paul Heyman preaches the absolute truth to the Punk, talking about how Paul Heyman was the only guy believing in him. Paul Heyman sacrificed his career to get CM Punk up to the spot that he was in, which is 100% truth.
Absolutely.
Probably.
No, it's true. That's absolutely.
Probably.
That's absolutely what happened. That's Paul Heyman was pushing him so hard, they weren't listening to him, and that frustration led for him to leave the company.
Didn't he say that in the DVD?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen the DVD. Then yes, you're correct.
You gotta know the story about December to Dismember.
Oh, yes. Everyone knows that
was
story.
The greatest pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah,
I swear it was on the Smark moment list for pay-per-view of the year.
Well, let me ask you guys. If CM Punk did win December to Dismember, would that have made it so much better that it wouldn't be known as what it is today?
No, it would still be shit.
But no, it would still be the drizzling shits, to coin Brandon McGann's phrase.
Yeah.
Shit, who ended up winning that Elimination Chamber? Who won that?
Bobby Lashley.
Okay, there we go.
I thought it was who went on to do MMA and then just...
Black Lesnar. That's what I'm calling him now.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Bobby Lashley.
So after Paul Heyman is done giving his sermon, CM Punk says something not important. Paul Heyman says again, I'm going to show you your future. And then Paul Heyman puts down his mic, goes to one knee, and mocks CM Punk doing the "It's clobbering time." And then Brock Lesnar's music hits. Brock Lesnar comes out and just lays the mother of all beatdowns on CM Punk.
Tony, are you actually singing Brock Lesnar's theme tune?
Yeah.
Tony's the new Brock Lesnar guy.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of catchy. After like 30 seconds, I get tired of it, but that first couple seconds, just that bum, bum, ba-da, bum, I like that.
Honestly, if I was at the gym, I'd be playing that song. That song sounds like something you like pump iron with.
That would be hilarious. I could see Drew just standing there like giving F5 to people and picking up a toy shot and F5 in that as well.
Back in my backyard trampoline wrestling days, I give a good F5. not bragging.
In your bounce house wrestling days?
Yes.
Is that when you were dressing up as a clown?
No.
Outro clowns.
No, I like clowns. I thought we established this. That was my stepdad who dresses up as a clown.
Hey, I don't know. He might have passed something down to you that you would use as wrestling gear.
Dude, okay, you'd never see me wearing a clown costume. You'll never see me.
I would like to.
I know you'd like to, Burhan, but you're not going to.
I got a thing for clowns.
I don't like where this is going.
So there's a point where Brock Lesnar goes to give the F5 on CM Punk into the table, but the table does not break at all.
Like always, it never does anymore.
Punk needs to put some meat on his bones is the problem.
You know what it is? It's devoid of Spanish people.
Yeah, it was the Spanish announcer's table.
That's not the Spanish announce table. Good point.
Yeah.
I need to talk to my people and get Jose back there.
Here's a lot of people don't know. When you have a Spanish announce table and an American announce table, they bring those tables with them. Those tables aren't there for them, so the American announce team has to go and get that table and bring it with them. And, of course, they get an American-made table. But when there's a Spanish announce team, they bring it back from Mexico. They bring it from home.
Yeah.
So it's one of those cheap, shoddy Mexican tables, and, of course, they're going to break.
Yeah. We take your jobs, we build shoddy tables, and then they break. And people sometimes tear their quads on them.
Are you acting Spanish again, Burhan?
Yes, apparently I'm Spanish today. Don't worry, I'll get my Uncle Jose to come and repair the table.
So I can't believe we're actually going so far off topic about this CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman segment.
The thing is, it did the job that it was supposed to do. It was a good segment. I loved the dynamic between Punk and Heyman, and Punk saying he's going to dismantle everybody, so we'll see what happens.
Drew, any thoughts?
I thought it was good for what it was, and mainly because of, Paul Heyman there. I forgot his name for a second. Paul Heyman talking, CM Punk did good, but, if we all know that since this is wrestling, this is, I guess it's believable, but honestly, if I saw Brock Lesnar just, go up to Punk at a fucking bar, even though Punk would probably never be in one, okay, if they just confronted in the middle of the street, there's no doubt in my mind that Brock Lesnar would just kick Punk's ass. So I just don't know what to think about this whole feud.
When I first heard about the potential Brock Lesnar and CM Punk idea, months back before WrestleMania even, I had the same thought. I was like, this match will make absolutely no sense. Seeing those guys cross the ring is just not believable at all. And in all likelihood, CM Punk is the likely winner. Who could possibly believe that?
I don't think he's going to win.
I hope he doesn't win. I really don't want him to win.
Also, I believe Punk said something along the lines of last man standing during the middle of his little thing, so maybe a last man standings match, and maybe then it could be a little believable. Punk uses enough weapons to keep Brock Lesnar down so I could attack the legs the entire time. Maybe it'd work then. And
he could even, do some kind of shenanigans like tying him up in wires or something like that to keep him down.
Yeah.
If he does something like that, I can see him winning. Otherwise, I think that Punk's coming up short. He'll put up a good fight, but, how many times can Lesnar really lose?
That's the big thing. That's why I really, really hope I'm wrong with that, because Lesnar cannot lose another big match like this.
No, because he needs to have as many matches that are wins now as possible before he has that big match against possibly Undertaker at WrestleMania. There's rumors of that going around.
Whether it's Undertaker, whether it's Rock, whether it's John Cena again, or whoever the heck he's facing, whatever his big-time match that they're probably going to have planned for him at WrestleMania next year, he needs to look like a lot more of a threat than he is, just based off the fact that he has 2 victories out of 3 over Triple H.
Right. Yeah. So maybe a match at Survivor Series, maybe throw him in there.
Putting him out like a team or like a singles match?
I don't know, a team or a singles match, because we've been talking about how he needs more wins, and just for Survivor Series, just don't make him show up as much, especially if he's on the team. He doesn't need to show up. He just needs to show up to the pay-per-view and just kick ass there. That's all he's got to do.
Oh, you know what we could do? They could do like a Heyman squad, and you could have like Lesnar, Axel, and the Shield. And on the other side, we could figure out Punk a way to align himself with the Wyatts, and then pick someone else on the team. That would be a great Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
I think that they would be missing an opportunity if they don't do Sheamus against him.
No, I could see Sheamus against him.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to see it, but Sheamus is their resident Brock Lesnar replacement right now.
They're brute.
Right. So, I mean, you can't do Batista because he's not there. I think Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar could be a potential match that they would want to go for, but really, out of the two options between Sheamus and Lesnar and Orton and Lesnar, I think Sheamus and Lesnar is the one that makes more sense.
And the main question is, who is a big enough star to go up against Brock Lesnar, and it'll at least look like they could put up an actual fight up against him?
Yeah, it's not going to be one of the Usos.
Not many left. Many left. There's not many men left in the company, I have to say.
You know what? Me and Tony have had a discussion about this, and I really wish that they would have done this when Sheamus was world champion, to have Sheamus and Lesnar feud, and Lesnar sort of like secure himself the world championship and stay for a few months as world champion, just to elevate the championship and also bring Sheamus to the point of elevation himself, as losing the title and faring against Brock Lesnar would have just brought Sheamus's credibility up a notch. At the moment, he's kind of dwindling. So a Sheamus versus Lesnar feud would look actually pretty good.
All right, guys, any other thoughts with this Lesnar, CM Punk, Heyman situation?
I think this was probably one of the highlights of the night for me.
Yeah.
That whole promo was freaking excellent. I think the way they choreographed their fight, the way Punk kept on coming back after Lesnar seemed to like just throw him around like a rag doll, and Punk just took it. When he jumped over the table right before he got hit with that F5, I thought that was great. If this is going to be any preview of what a match is going to be like, and I hope it's not just going to be a regular match between those two. I hope they, have some sort of no disqualification kind of gimmick. Maybe in Last Man Standing would be.
Has Brock Lesnar not been in a no disqualification match yet?
That the first match with Triple H, wasn't that just a regular?
Well, no, yeah, it was a regular match, but Triple H just like told the ref to be like, hey, I want this to go as far as you want, so don't call for DQ. He wanted it to be like either pinfall or submission.
Yep.
Because I believe Brock hit him with a low blow, and the ref didn't call it.
Mm-hmm. You speak soundly. I'm looking at it on the Wikipedia results, and it says it was a no DQ match.
Whatever.
Maybe he made it like right beforehand. I don't know.
Yeah, didn't they kind of bill it as like an MMA style something or whatever too?
It was the perfect storm, Tony.
The perfect storm crap. That was. I mean, the movie was stupid enough.
At first, Cena was definitely an Extreme Rules match. Steel cage with Triple H, and the one at WrestleMania was like a street fight or whatever they called it.
No holds barred.
No holds barred. Same fucking thing.
There's 1,000 fucking names for it. It's the same crap. Extreme Rules, fucking Belfast Brawl.
Ballroom brawl.
What does Finley have to do with this?
That's just another thing to throw in there.
No, Sheamus had a Belfast brawl once.
Did he?
Maybe it was a Boston brawl. I don't know.
I must have drank that part away.
Oh, gosh. All right, so next we had a fun little backstage segment with John Cena and Great Khali, where Khali was campaigning for him to be the choice from John Cena to be the WWE title contender at SummerSlam, and it was what it was. Like I said, it was a fun little segment.
I thought it was a good segment for what it was. Don't get much out of Great Khali nowadays, but I remember that and like that segment he had with like the whole secret admirer thing with Caitlyn, and that was like told Khali he had to go into the men's locker room and just ask around like who's the secret admirer. I thought that was pretty funny. So maybe you could pull off Khali as like this extremely like comedy bits from now on.
Yeah, you know what I think is really good? I think it'd be funny if they just have Great Khali like just speak Hindi the entire time and just have people just like automatically understand him, like how Han Solo automatically understands Chewbacca. What you say? I thought
then we could have someone like fight with him over the fact that he slept with their wife. Tyson Kidd, brilliant.
Taking a little bit too far, but okay.
Khali is just.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't hear Khali like so many people do. He doesn't offend me, especially because he doesn't wrestle that often now. Like he was being shoved down our throats a couple years ago, and I mean like even after like his big world title run, I was like, oh okay, this is a big monster, it's whatever. And he wasn't as clumsy then as he is now. But
because his knees are shot. He's not as great as he used to be. They keep him around because he's an attraction. They want big guys like that. He's a Vince project, as I would call it, because that's the kind of thing that Vince like jizzes over.
As great as he used to be. He used to be great.
But
it's really harking for those classic Great Khali matches against
the hell?
He's had some great matches with Cena and Batista.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie on that. But on the sense as a wrestler, I really am ashamed. He, a short story. He actually lives in the same village as my former in-laws, and he used to be a police officer there, and they found him on the side of a road breaking bricks.
Your former in-laws?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My ex-wife is Indian, so...
you told me that. I just didn't know they were from the same village.
Punjab, yeah.
Punjab.
Breaking bricks? You mean like literally? Or
literally breaking bricks. I didn't ask
with
if it
his
was
bare
with
hands.
A giant meat club of a hand.
He was doing the karate chop. Yeah.
But, it's one of those things. But when she came back from Khali t-shirt, she's like, I've got something for you. I was like, okay, oh, cool, wrestler t-shirt. Is it Stone Cold? Is it Shawn? Great Khali. Oh, great.
I didn't even know there was a Khali shirt.
And I actually wore it because I didn't want to upset her, because she was like, why isn't he wearing my Khali shirt? I'm like, okay. I put it on. Look, I'm wearing the Khali shirt. Well, she was saying it in Hindi, so I'm doing an English translation here.
Oh.
And I'm wearing I've still got it in my wardrobe somewhere. Like, she threw me out with like nearly everything, and the Great Khali shirt came with me. Like, take your wrestling shit. I was like, no, you keep it. It's fine. But that's the long story short. And apparently he went to the WWE when they found him over there, after he was wrestling some WXW event for Hulk Hogan, and he had some like big screen success for The Longest Yard. So that's it, really.
And he's a pretty big deal over in India. They like him, and even just the international market in general tends to attract a Great Khali. So that's why he's still there. For all those people always questioning, why does he still have a job? Why is he on my TV?
Because the kids love him.
Yeah, and is he really that bad? Like, is he?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Like, is he Mason Ryan bad?
No. Well, I mean, he's only out there for like 5 minutes. Not even that if he's in a wrestling match. And even then, no one tags him in. I remember that Tons of Funk match, the only with that he was a part of against, I think, 3MB. The only time he was tagged in was to just chop Slater on the head. So it's not like WWE forces him to wrestle, like, long matches where people are like, oh, okay, this is fucking stupid.
In all seriousness, maybe we should do Superstar Scores Great Khali.
No, because they'll all be zeros.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Nah, his charisma up 10 for sure.
He'd probably get the lowest.
And look at that chiseled body that he's got.
Lower than RVD?
He doesn't look like
he's so chiseled. You see, he's got extra bumps on his pecs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. For me, the Great Khali as a talent, I wouldn't even say he's that talented. He's good for what he is, and yes, the Indians love him. But to resolve that situation, all I need to do is focus their attention on one Sanjay Dutt, bring him in to the WWE.
Good call, Paden. Good call. My friend JC Dunn just wrestled Sanjay Dutt this weekend.
He's awesome.
Shout outs to the Juice. One of New England's finest.
I can't believe that we've had this long of a conversation of Great Khali.
I know.
And it's actually stayed like really
positive,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm proud of us.
I'm not really proud. I'm more surprised.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on then. And this was such like an inconsequential little segment, and we spent so much time talking about it, as compared to like the Brock Lesnar CM Punk segment, which I had to like squeeze conversation out of you guys to get.
Well, I think what more can you say? That was just a great segment. I mean, everything Heyman said was like a god on the microphone with that. I mean, that's perfect. That was a perfect promo, perfect way to set up the match for SummerSlam.
If we told him how to talk, did a damn good job of teaching him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Paul Heyman just has that natural Jewish charisma.
All right, so the next segment we have is another backstage segment with Brad Maddox in his office. He first sees Stephanie McMahon there, and then Triple H walks in, and they both start questioning Brad's choice to leave it up to John Cena to decide his SummerSlam opponent, mostly saying that Vince McMahon probably wouldn't like it.
Wait, when they say because they think that John Cena was going to pick a certain superstar that Vince didn't like or something like that?
Yeah, Bryan.
Yeah, so
they
Daniel
knew
Bryan.
it was going to be Bryan.
I think everyone knew it was going to be Bryan.
Hey, you know what? My little child who was asleep in this room knew it was going to be Bryan.
Yeah, exactly. Even my little brother, who doesn't even know what wrestling is, knew that Daniel Bryan was going to be the one chosen.
When he farted the Daniel Bryan theme tune, Flight of the Valkyries.
Even Chris Jester knew that it was going to be Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
Yeah, neither do I.
I'm just taking a pot shot at him.
Oh.
Okay.
Because he's not here.
He likes the Xbox One, so, there's no shots that need to be taken.
So, next we had our main event match of the evening, which was Rob Van Dam.
The whole effing show, baby.
Against Chris Jericho. And, last night I was complaining a lot about being taken back to 2008 with the pay-per-view going off the air with John Cena and Randy Orton, the guys on top. And now on Raw, we have RVD versus Chris Jericho. I feel like we're in 2003. What's going on here?
Going back in time, man.
For me, man.
Later on we might have The Rock and Stone Cold headlining Raw in a few months, man.
Yeah, can we get like Brian Christopher out? Maybe he could help revive the tag division.
Brian Christopher. Sorry, I'm laughing just because Brian Christopher.
Did you see him the last time that he was on Raw?
Oh yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
He made Kali look fucking good.
Oh goodness gracious. So I actually kind of tuned out during this match, so I don't really know how good or bad it was.
I will say it was good, but it took a long time. At one point, I was just like, good God, when is this going to be over? Like, I enjoyed it, but it just took way too long.
And something to blame for that, too, is just these 3-hour Raws.
Yeah.
Like, after all this, like, do you really want to watch a long, exciting match? Do you have it in you?
If this was at the beginning of the show, yes, this would have been a perfect way to start off the show.
And we started off with 2 excellent matches.
Yeah.
The ones with Orton and Fandango, and then Del Rio and Ziggler. And then we didn't really have much good wrestling the rest of the night. But then we finally had it again here. But after the Divas match and the Real Americans, it just wasn't. I couldn't stay in.
At one point, it garnered "This is awesome" chant as well, and I was like, "Oh gosh, be quiet! It's not that good."
I'm pretty sure I heard You Still Got It a number of times.
You Still Got It at the very beginning. I mean, he's been wrestling this entire time.
Well, you know what, though? He's been wrestling in TNA, which is Phantom Zone of professional wrestling. So
maybe no one knows what TNA is.
That shall not be named, okay?
Yeah, he's been irrelevant for the last, 2-3 years. So it's like he's back from the dead, was what Fatu called it, based off the way people are reacting to him. So that's what, that's
what I do.
RVD wins the match with a 5-star frog splash.
Shrug.
It was a great match.
Any shrugs in a match? Did anyone else see a shrug in there?
I've seen
when he came out, he did.
I've seen enough shrugs.
The first thing he did in last night's Money in the Bank match when he came out there was shrug. Shrug and then RVD.
Can't wait for him to get a mic and actually say something eventually.
And I love if everybody else caught it on tonight's Raw. I think it was Cole said, "Does anybody get higher than RVD?"
I think it actually might have been Lawler, but it was one of those two.
It's just perfect.
Whoever said it, the other person probably had to mute their microphone.
Laughing.
Yes. Well, that's that match. That's all we have to say about that too.
It was a great match. It took me back. Again, this was the first Rob Van Dam match I had watched because, again, I didn't pay attention to anything he did while he was in that other company that we will not mention. How
could you? Like, every time his theme starts, you immediately have to throw a rock at your TV to make it stop.
Someone who we all know, me and Paden both know, well, not I know him better than Paden, but Paden is aware of this person, tried to convince me that Rob Van Dam's theme song is not the worst wrestling theme song of all time. And he tried to give me examples. I'm like, nah, dude, it's the worst fucking wrestling theme song of all time.
What were the examples?
Oh, what was it?
Yes.
Mr. Internet Group guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. someone who I don't like to mention by name, because if I mention them by name, they make it think I give a shit about them. Yeah, they tried to teach me. He gave me examples of like hiding.
Oh yeah, and one of them was "You look so good to me."
Yeah, and I'm like, that's great.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's like, that needs to be an outro if it isn't already.
Unless they did it as "You look so good to me."
Worst period wrestling theme period ever period.
Thank God I didn't watch TNA. Otherwise, I know what this theme is.
Liggan.
Tony, something you said earlier is you think someone between Rob Van Dam and Chris Jericho is the likelihood of going and being Del Rio's next opponent. Explain yourself with that.
Very much so. I think that either Jericho, this is his last match before he goes away for a little bit, or RVD, they ride the wave. Who else really is going to end up facing Del Rio? There's not many people. I mean, you maybe Christian, but I mean, we've seen Orton, and he doesn't need to have that match because he has the other championship Money in the Bank in his possession right now. Sheamus, we've seen it 1,000 times. So why not do somebody like RVD, who really, he hasn't been there long enough. He's never had a feud with Del Rio. I'm not really excited to see it if we do end up getting it, but
I'll tell you why it can't be Chris Jericho, because he has a summer tour starting on August 3rd, and on August 18th he will be in Reading, UK.
Reading.
All right, well then it's got to be RVD then.
Reading.
Reading. R-E-A-D. Reading.
It's Reading.
It's like Burhan. How do they say it?
Riding. I think it's riding.
It's Reading.
Whatever it is, it's not going to be Jericho then if he's got something
Reading
booked.
to people who live in Reading.
Wherever it is, Jericho will be there. Damn it.
All right, you're like those people from New York who are like, it's Houston Street. Whatever. Let it go.
I'm not like anybody. This is how they say it, and they'll get pissed off if I went up there and said, "How are you people in Reading?" They would look at me like I'm some kind of retard.
Or a retard.
Seriously over there.
A retard?
That's what they would call it, wouldn't it?
Reptard, damn it.
Did you say reptard?
Yeah, fucking Rugrats. That's what's up.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, guys, we got one more segment from Monday Night Raw to talk about, and that was John Cena coming out and having the entire WWE locker room empty out onto the stage. And John Cena has to pick his number one contender for the WWE title to face him at SummerSlam. And he just pads this out. Oh, my gosh. Could it be this guy? Could it be that guy? Could it be that?
Annoying.
They got to use, for 3 Hour Raw, they got to use all that 3 hours and 17 minutes that USA gives them, so that's why he was doing that. I mean...
But it was like elongating your damn sentences. It's just, was it him? Would we have Silly Slater? Would we have other members of 3MB who logically wouldn't be a choice, because if I picked them, I'd be a moron?
Don't hinder gender.
Hey, I'm not hindering gender, I'm just saying. God, he's just like, will it be Sheamus? Because if you call 1-800-FELLA, he'll come a-running. Ha ha, I made it funny. Are you laughing? No, you're not.
I referenced something that happened earlier in the show.
Ha ha ha.
Did anyone else notice how he was just like, and maybe for this next person, like he was like making words like longer. He was like holding out syllables a bit.
Trying to vamp for time. They said, hey, John, we have to use all of this time available. USA gives us this time. Damn it, we're going to use it. So that's why he did that. So he's got to try and give the people as much as they can. Keep those people in that building for as long as they can, so they buy more merchandise, buy more concessions, buy. That's what it's all about, man.
Wow, that's depressing.
I know. Hey, you know what? I'm a realist, though. I keeps it real.
Well, don't they usually have a go-home match after Raw goes off the air? Because they did when they came to Indianapolis, they had one, and I forget what the ending segment was. I think it was a Kane CM Punk match, but then they had like John Cena and like two other people came out to face the Shield, so I didn't know if that's just a normal thing.
They always advertise it, and then sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Does anybody else expect him to do the opposite kind of thing, where instead of he would like say their names like he was doing, that he would have just went to the front of the stage and just kind of pointed at each person and waited to see like the response? I actually thought he was going to be doing that.
Yeah, I thought there was actually going to be interaction with all those people. Otherwise, why have them all come out on the stage like that?
You know what would have been awesome? If he pointed at him like Hulk Hogan and went, you, and then the real Americans pointed back at him and went, you, and it would look fun.
I got what you're trying to say, but it's not funny.
All right,
do the whole Hogan theme.
After lots of delaying, he finally announces that Daniel Bryan is his choice. Daniel Bryan comes out, and it's just a big, continuous yes chant from the entire crowd until Raw goes off the air.
From the entire borough of Brooklyn, I think. I think if you weren't at the home run derby at Citi Field in Queens, you were probably chanting yes along with it.
Really, that was in New York? I didn't know that.
Yes, that was it's the home run. The All-Star Game is taking place from Citi Field in Flushing.
Oh, okay,
New York.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I knew it was on tonight, or at least the home run derby was.
Everybody I knew who is in the city was either at Raw or at the home run derby last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
So, any actual excitement about Daniel Bryan?
I'm very excited for this, but I have this little like voice in the back of my head that says, "Don't get too excited. They're just gonna feed him to Cena."
That's really all this feels, and that's why I really wish Daniel Bryan got the Money in the Bank instead of it happening this way. Because if he had the Money in the Bank, he could hold on to it a little while, and when it's the right time, he can use that to cash in and get that title. Now it feels like he's just a guy who's facing Cena for the big pay-per-view in Los Angeles.
Well, listen, I honestly think that if Bryan doesn't get his shot and actually win the title at SummerSlam, I think we might not see him challenging for the WWE Championship for a while. Like, he'll have feuds with, I think, the Wyatts will come up at one point. I think he'll be a part of the Survivor Series stuff. But honestly, I'm a firm believer that when it comes around time to the Royal Rumble, I think that's when he's going to get his shot to be that main event player.
I'm thinking that you got one of two options here. Either, well, you know what? I'll say three options. I'll throw this one little other extra thing out there. I think either he wins at SummerSlam, he doesn't win, but he puts up such a good fight that they have a rematch at Night of Champions and he wins, or like Drew's saying, he is one of two people that could potentially win the Royal Rumble. The other person's Dolph Ziggler.
Oof, we're really going to stretch both of those guys steps up that far.
We're really going to make Royal Rumble predictions, really?
Yeah. Wholeheartedly, I think it's going to be one of those two.
I think it's a bit early to take.
Or Ryback.
Yeah, who's going to be in the Royal Rumble?
I mean, at this point, you could think almost anybody. Brock Lesnar could be the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, bold sweeping predictions. Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be in the Royal Rumble.
No, I think if you really look at stuff, they haven't had anybody for a long time win the Royal Rumble that's had no championship before.
Del Rio, Sheamus.
Sheamus was a champion before that.
Oh, you are correct. Del Rio was not.
No, yeah, Del Rio wasn't at that point. But they typically give it to somebody who's already held the title. And they typically nowadays try to give it to somebody who hasn't really won it. I know John Cena just did, but for the past however many years, they've given it to somebody who hasn't won the Royal Rumble before. John Cena, the only reason he won it this time around is because they thought that would be the excuse to get the John Cena and The Rock match. It was kind of their hand was forced in a lot of ways. They could have given it to Ryback, they could have given it to a lot of other people, and they ended up going with that because that's the priority. And
I'm not even having a conversation about how many times that was actually wrong. Despite the fact that John Cena always manages to get a title match without even asking for one.
But the only other person that hasn't won the Royal Rumble yet that could potentially win it is CM Punk. And really, what's the likelihood that CM Punk is going to win the Royal Rumble and face a champion this year, as opposed to possibly go in as the champion, or have that match that has been referenced 1,000 times and we don't need to get into it at all, but the Stone Cold Steve Austin match. So I think that when you boil down the roster, I mean, anything could happen. Both guys could get injured and you need somebody else to do it, or somebody could catch on and then they start building them up or whatever, but out of everybody who is left on the roster, it's not going to be somebody like
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, it's not going to be anybody like a Jinder Mahal. It's not going to be anybody who really isn't the slightest bit popular. It's got to be somebody who is popular enough but could use that little bit of an edge, because they give them that kind of a thing more so than the people that can just do it on their own. And I think that Ziggler is the person more so than Daniel Bryan to fit that spot. But
you know what I always liked? I hear this idea once in a while when talking about the Royal Rumble, and that's The idea of rather than the Royal Rumble being for the title shot at WrestleMania, it's for the chance to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I've never liked that.
Why not?
Yeah,
because to me it kind of cheapens the whole thing a little bit.
Well, hell, they just had what was it, a 5-man match on Raw last time?
Yeah, did someone get fired for that?
Well, I thought that was pretty stupid too, but
yeah, it was.
To me, the Undertaker thing needs to be something where this year I would like to see Undertaker challenge somebody instead of somebody challenge the Undertaker.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him be like, fuck this, it's WrestleMania 30, I need to go whoop some ass, I need a really good opponent, and I need that to be either John Cena or Brock Lesnar.
Or Heath Slater.
If this was 5 or 6 years ago, maybe like that Royal Rumble thing where the winner faces Undertaker, I think that'd work fine. But now it's kind of too late because you don't know if next year, after this coming WrestleMania, we don't know if Undertaker is going to be there.
Well, obviously, this would be if you know that he's wrestling. And for that matter, if you know it's going to be his last one, it's even that bigger of a deal. It's like, guys, this is the last person's chance to break the streak. And it's that big of a deal. We can't just pick someone on our own. We're going to give you this chance with the Royal Rumble. And the winner who wins that will have the opportunity for the last chance to break the streak.
Okay, I like that. Besides, that as well. But, I've just... Next, go someone talk. That was a fail on my part.
Very well said, Drew. Very well said.
That was a fail on my part. My bad.
No. I think you can't believe you're really going to get me to make a Royal Rumble prediction. If anyone I can see doing it, I could see Ziggler because you haven't seen anybody really pull off the marathon in a while, probably since Rey Mysterio. Go from 1 to 30 and win it.
Oh, well, the funny thing is if you go back to the Royal Rumble this year, it started off with Ziggler and Jericho, and they did the marathon, only they just didn't win it.
Yeah.
And then they get to, the last 6 at least?
They did.
Yeah, okay.
I could see Ziggler winning from, a number 7 spot. Not the number 1 thing again, because that'll get a little too tired. Or maybe even pull...
do number 3. Do a Flair.
I was just going to say number 3, yeah.
Yeah, do a Flair.
Number 3, number 4, something like that. Something where it's very, very early.
So they can sit there and talk about how much stamina he has and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
At least it wouldn't be a John Cena where he just comes right at the end. Oh, sorry, that's a Ryback.
They've done that way too much lately. where one of the last few people wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why they need to go with somebody at the beginning.
Or he enters the match and tears a quad.
Or we could go in the middle spot. Like a 15 or something like that.
Yeah, nobody's won from dead center 15, I don't think.
I don't have all those facts on hand, so I couldn't say.
You could see all those facts at Smark Out Movement. Royal Rumble statistics.
Cheap plug.
Oh, goodness gracious.
He's
all right,
not
guys.
even lying. He has those statistics. I've seen them.
Let's go around the horn here. Give your final thoughts of tonight's Monday Night Raw and conclude it with your highest point and your lowest point of the night. I'll go first with Drew.
Oh gosh, you picked me. Okay. I thought it was a good Raw. There was a lot of good segments, honestly, and there was a few good matches. And the 3-hour thing usually doesn't bother me, but tonight, for some reason, I mentioned is around the RVD Chris Jericho match, it did start to kick in, I believe. Like Paden has mentioned, but so the high point, it'd probably be the Wyatt promo, and because that was just amazing, either that or the Paul Heyman promo as well. And my low point, we'll just go with the Divas match because I can't think of any off the top of my head.
All right, Brandon.
It was a great Raw all the way. Okay, not great Raw. It was a good Raw. Great crowd into it from start to finish. High energy. Highlight of the show was absolutely the Heyman Punk segment. I mean, that set up. If you weren't gonna buy the SummerSlam pay-per-view anyway, and that doesn't convince you to buy it, nothing will. That's just how I feel about it. If I had to pick a low point, I would probably. I mean, I don't want to say the Divas thing because that really just sounds cliche. I would probably have to say the tag team match because it really just seemed just rushed. And, what did it ultimately do? Push the Usos some more. We already know that. But, Punk Heyman was absolutely the highlight of the show for me because it got me interested in that match.
All right, Tony Mango.
maybe if we're trying not to say low point of Divas, which kind of rules out the promo for the Total Divas thing, then maybe I would say the low point would be how long that Triple H segment was, because it did feel like it kind of dragged on a little bit, or possibly or not enough, I should say, mentions of the WWE app.
It's true.
High point, either the Punk segment or the closing seconds with that huge yes chant.
Very true. Burhan, you good?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Tony. High points, the yes chant or the Punk segment with Heyman, both very good moments to show. Low point, Great Khali. For me, I'm sorry, I just don't really. I think people see comedy in him. I just don't see anything. I don't think he's that funny. Or the whole boring, drawn-out scene with Cena trying to pick someone. I was literally on the verge of switching off.
I think you have a stigmata against Khali because of your in-laws.
You don't like the Khali, bro? No, it's because he's terrible and has no tools to be a professional wrestler apart from his size.
Not the stigmata of your former in-laws?
No, not the stigmata.
Okay.
And it's Stigmata. Get it right.
It's the thing called Stigmata.
Thing called Sting.
It does this and it does that.
Yeah, indeed. So that leaves it to me. I think this was a pretty good show, and like I said, I came out with negative feelings still lingering after last night's pay-per-view, which I did not enjoy at all. I thought for a post-pay-per-view Raw, this was really good. It got some new things started going in new directions. For me, the high point of the show actually was Orton versus Fandango. I thought this was a great, great match. I thought it was awesome to see Fandango still being a serious contender in something here. I thought he looked pretty good in the Money in the Bank match last night. He had a few really cool spots. I don't know if anyone would agree with me on this, but if Dolph Ziggler is the number one seller in the company, Fandango's number two.
Yeah.
Because the way he took the crossroads, the way he took that frontwards DDT from Dean Ambrose off the ladder, he was just doing awesome.
Yeah, he was the Kofi Kingston of that match. He was the guy bouncing around the ring, getting destroyed by people, but also he made it look good.
I think Fandango won a lot of people back last night, and I hope he got himself back in the good graces of whoever is doing things in the back, because he has just been absolutely cold ever since coming back from his concussion.
I was going to say, how awesome was that, while we were talking about the ladder match yesterday, how awesome was that spot where Ambrose pulled himself up on the ladder? I mean, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if he didn't fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be that guy, but, if it was anybody else that wasn't an internet darling, people would have started chanting, "You fucked up, you fucked up."
And it would have made a lot more sense if they would have just dropped the ladder immediately, because there was no point in them holding him up for that whole time.
I'll give him credit, that I understand where that could be a little bit difficult to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the guy pulled himself up, I don't even know how he pulled that off.
Maybe I'd take some CrossFit lessons from Seth Rollins. Maybe he could do that.
Maybe. Functional strength exercises, man. That's what it's all about.
At least it wasn't as absurd as freaking Swagger and Cesaro standing on each other's shoulders.
As Brandon says, it's all in the wrist.
It's all in the wrist.
That was heinous. All right, guys, I'm going to start passing around. We'll do our final plugs for the evening. Anthony Mango, we'll do you first.
All right, guys, obviously it's been mentioned before, www.smarkoutmoment.com and www.youtube.com/smarkoutmoment for all the Smack Talk stuff that's coming your way this week. We're going to do all of our full talk of Money in the Bank. Obviously, we're going to have our Ask Him Wrestling Trivia question of the week, tell you who got those questions right last week. We're going to do the hot tags for anything that's coming along news-wise, and whatever the specialty post coming up next week is, I'm not too sure, but you could send us your suggestions that way. And go check out outonlimbs.com as well as my Bleacher Report posts and www.fanboysanonymous.com for everything geek.
All right, Drew White.
I am a contributor for Tony's Fanboys Anonymous, and every once in a while I will appear on Smack Talk and Smark Out Moment. Also, you can follow me on the Twitters at DrewSifWhite. And I'll keep the Big Blast Reynolds plug short. If you live in the Indianapolis, Indiana area and you need bounce houses for any type of party. Call 765-212-1521, or you could go to BigBlastRentals.com, and you can see all of our selection of bounce houses.
Bounce houses.
Do you have bounce houses for special occasion?
Yeah.
Like a bounce house that looks like Spider-Man?
Nope, we have a
or
Sergeant
even worse,
Slaughter. We have a
house
Sergeant Slaughter one. We've established this. We have the Sergeant
Do you have
Slaughter.
A bounce house that
Don't mention
like
China. Do not mention China.
What you need is a bounce
or
house.
Do you have like a...
What you need is a bounce house of Naomi, and the bouncy part is her giant butt.
that should be her finisher's name, the bounce house.
I will probably buy that off of you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Brandon, take it over.
I was going to say her finishing move should be called Dat Ass. All right, if you like hearing me talk about shit. Yeah, I know, I caught myself though.
Good.
If you like hearing me talk about shit, you can listen to me tomorrow on this very radio station, where myself, Paden, Burhan, and anybody else who fucking comes along are going to be talking about stuff, geek speak, nerdy things. We ride nerdy there on Geek Speak every Tuesday, 8 to 10, on this very same radio station, Mega Powers Radio. Also on Wednesdays, I host my own show, which is usually just me sometimes, Sportaholics Anonymous, where I talk sports and basically whatever the hell else comes across my brain for 2 hours. That is on a lovely radio station known as Dream Elite Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. I think that's it. I'm good. That's it.
All right, Burhan.
I love you all so very much.
Love you too.
No, I mean, it's meant to people listening.
I want to say okay. I want to say a great big thank you to everybody that subscribed to youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, NERDGENIOUS. I've got 67 subscribers. Hoping to hit the 70 mark by the end of the week. Thank you guys. You've been awesome. We've got a competition going on for all those people that want to join up. We've just completed our Blaze Blue comp, and also Bill Murray week. Bill Murray fortnight, shall I say. And I've got a new competition coming up to win a pair of Wii U headphones. So check those out, guys. Go to www.nerdgenius.com for anything else. And also catch me on Fanboys Anonymous. And I'm a regular on Keeping Kayfabe and Tony Mango's Smack Talk. That's where it all began, me and Tony. We've got chemistry. And that's it.
Goodness gracious. All right.
And also, I got gameplay, of course.
I'll cover gameplay because I'm going to do the whole Mega Powers rundown. Keep supporting Mega Powers Radio here at blogtalkradio.com/Mega Powers Radio, or simply megapowersradio.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes if you want to listen to us in post. Subscribe to us on Facebook and on Twitter to get all the latest news of the shows that are coming on, such as our Monday Night Raw post show, which happens every Monday night following the conclusion of Monday Night Raw. Tuesday night Geek Speak, where we discuss all things geek. Wednesday night the Daceman Show with Chris the Daceman Dace.
Ooh.
Saturday nights I Got Gameplay, where we talk about the latest news in the video gaming world. All those shows start at 8 p.m., by the way, except for the Raw one, obviously. And every Sunday before WWE pay-per-views, we do a pre-show that starts at 6:30. The next one will be Summerslam, which I believe is August 18th. Sure, you can look it up. I don't know. There's time.
Yes.
Okay, cool. If you want to follow myself personally on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, the handle is MRPADEN. That's Mr. Paden. Some of the projects I got going on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. You can find myself, Brandon Burhan, on Keeping Kayfabe, where wrestling is still real to us.
Damn it!
That's our catchphrase, folks. We air on blogtalkradio.com/Stream Elite. That's Stream Elite Radio. Place where you might have heard Brandon plugging a bit before. We're going head-to-head with TNA Impact because it's the Thursday Night Wars, and we need to put them out once and for all because people are freaking sick of them.
Yeah, can't wait for them to get the hell out of here.
I know I am. Consarn it.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to us here on the Monday Night Raw post-show here on Mega Powers Radio. I'm Mike Paden.
One question, though, before we go. Are we going to have the Klezmer music?
We will have the Klezmer music. Yes. All right, I'm Mike Paden, for Brendan Liggan, for Drew White, for Tony Mango, and for Michael Burhan. Once again, I'm Mike Paden. Everyone have a wonderful night, and please feel free to dance. Meow.